Hey there, and welcome to the management series. I am so excited that you're joining us. I hope this is a very, very fruitful series for you, and that through this series, not only do you become a better owner or manager of your small business and your retail company, but also that you help develop the kind of company that you've always dreamed of, the kind of career you've always dreamed of, and be in a situation where your business is not running you, but that you get to run your business, have freedom, have joy, and financial success along the way. My name is Kyle Bullock. I'm going to be guiding you through a number of these videos on the platform, and I'm very excited to be here with you because today we want to start with some foundational videos that will help guide you through the series to sort of, again, lay the foundation. Where are we going and what are we building upon when we say we want to help you become better owners and managers in this series? Today's lesson, this very first one, I think is so important because it's all about leadership. And no doubt you've probably heard that word a number of times at conferences and trade publications or wherever you are in life. It's sort of a big buzzword. But what do we mean when we say that we're here to help you become a better leader? And I want to help define that here for the platform today. The very first thing I want you to understand when I say leadership is that everything rises and falls on leadership. Success, failure, you name it. I like the idea of you put your hands out like this and you can sort of make a circle around you. And anything inside of that circle that you've made with your hands, that is something that you can change. Anything outside of that circle that you made with your hands is something you cannot change. If you are astute and paying attention, the only thing inside of that circle is you. You're the only thing inside of that circle. You can only change yourself. You can't change other people. You can't change the economy. You can't change the country. You can't change your industry, but you can change you. So everything rises and falls on leadership. And when you focus on how you can change what you can change and not worry about the things you can't change, you are already on the path to becoming a better leader. And I keep using that word. What is leadership? I love the definition that John Maxwell uses for leadership, so I'm going to use it here. John would say, leadership is influence. Nothing more, nothing less. I love that. Influence. Everybody in some way is a leader or can be a leader. If leadership is about influence, a parent who influences a child, a boss who influences an employee or a customer, someone who influences their social group or their community, anytime you're influencing someone else, you're leading. Now, just because you're a leader doesn't mean you're a good leader. There's a lot of examples today and in history of bad leadership. And just because you have a title of owner or manager doesn't somehow imbue you with the gift of great leadership. It's something you have to work on. It's a skill that you develop. But what is the difference between a good leader and a bad leader? I want to just sort of fundamentally lay out what I believe the difference between a good leader and a bad leader is, especially within your company. I think a bad leader is someone who sits around and thinks about themselves. What can I do to make more money? How can I have more time off? How can I have more flexibility? How can I have this or do that or grow here? How can I be a better version of me? It's all about me. That's kind of selfish. And really, at the end of the day, who wants to work for someone who's selfish or thinking about themselves mostly? The best leaders I've ever worked with, the best leaders I've ever worked for are outward thinkers. They think to themselves, how can I make my team the best version of themselves? How can I serve my customer or my client to the very best of my abilities? How can I impact my community and make it a little bit better than when I first arrived here? They're thinking about how they can work on themselves within that 6-foot circle to influence the world outside of themselves to be better. And that makes for great leadership. Think about how you can influence yourself and change yourself, rather, to influence the world around you and make the world a little bit better than when you first found it. Now, I've been using these two words, and it seems like they're kind of interchangeable, owner and manager, but I do mean them to be separate words. And I think it's very important before we start this series that you know that there is a difference between owning a company, being the owner of a company, and being a manager within that company. So very briefly, I want to kind of define these two roles, because maybe you're watching this and you are a manager working for an owner, vice versa, or maybe you're one person who's trying to do both of those roles right now, and I want to define them a little bit before we continue, okay? Owners are big picture thinkers. They need to think big picture so they can see the vision of where this company is going, what it is, what we do here. Managers are going to be more mid to day-to-day level view, right? They're not going to be thinking big picture. They're more interested, more adept at the details than they are at the big scale. Owners are the ones who set goals, they set vision, and they define what the culture of the company should be. Managers, on the other hand, are the ones who uphold those ideas. They're the ones who make sure we're moving towards the goal, we're fulfilling the vision, and we're fulfilling the kind of a culture on the day-to-day that the boss, the owner, wants us to fulfill. Also, owners, this is important. You're not involved in the day-to-day affairs of the company. You're not there to micromanage or get your hands dirty. You have big ideas, you have goals, and you delegate those off to other people. Managers, you can help the owner in this way by giving them the space to think big and to dream big and to plan big, and to make sure that you're there on the front lines helping make sure that their visions are actually happening. Also, managers, one of the great things you can do is be the mouthpiece for all of those frontline workers and represent them. See what's working, see what's not working. If the owner's not involved in the dailies, they need to know what's happening out there. They need to know what's happening on the sales floor if they're not the one on the sales floor every single day. So managers, one of the things you can do to help the owner in this way is to see what's going on, listen to the team, and report it back to the owner so that together you can collaborate, develop a strong relationship, a unified front, and lead the company in the direction that you want to go. Now, if you're both, you're the owner and the manager, as I affectionately call the onager, you need to define both of these roles within yourself. Sometimes you need to have the owner hat on and dream big, and other times you need to be involved in the day-to-day affairs, that mid-level view of things. But you need to give space to both of those things. Wear both of those hats at separate times, and this is most important if you're trying to be both. Think about the people either on your team or that you will need to hire soon who complement your strengths, who complement your roles, and fill in the gaps so that you don't have to be both forever. I'm a big picture thinker. I love to think at 30,000 feet and kind of see the big picture. I'm not as adept at the details. So the people I need to find to be around me, they love the details. They love to be in the minutia. They love to make sure that all of the files are alphabetically organized and properly put together. I need that to complement my leadership, and together we make a great team. So if you're trying to play both of those roles, think about your strengths and think about the kinds of people that you need to help fill in the gaps that you may have in your leadership right now. Okay, before you continue, I want to give you something very practical to work on right now to help define yourselves and set yourselves up for success throughout this series and in your company. Okay, so here's the homework. Owners, managers, you're going to sit down together and have a conversation. And I really want you to focus on clearing up two things before we continue. The first thing I want you to focus on is I want you to both really understand what are your roles? Who's doing what in the company? Who really is going to be doing the day-to-day things? Who's doing the big picture things? Make sure you have a very clear picture of who's doing what in the company and where you're going with it. Here's a great way to do that, a great conversation starter for the two of you to have. Answer this question. What is the company goal to achieve in the next year? Where do you want to be 1 year from now? This helps the owner get to define and sort of set the guide of where we want to go, set the goal, and the manager can respond by making sure that they can articulate that goal and see it through on the day-to-day affairs, right? Here's the second question that I want you guys to clear up. What's the kind of culture that you want for your business? How should it feel when you walk into your business? What's the environment supposed to be like? Culture is so important. Here's a great way for you to have that conversation. Answer this question. How do you want people to feel when they're not in your business? How do you want employees to feel when they're at home, sitting around the dinner table, talking about their day at work? How do you want customers to feel when they get home to talk about their experiences shopping with you? How do you want your vendors to feel when they're shooting the breeze with people and saying, yeah, I work with such and such company and they're like blank. Fill in that blank. What do you want the company to feel like to people who are not in your company but have worked with you? Define the kind of feeling you want people to feel when they've shopped with you, they've been there in your store, and they've left. They'll remember how they felt. And that feeling that you've given them, that's part of your culture. Okay, those are your marching orders. Know your roles and know the culture. Remember that everything rises and falls on leadership. That if you want to change your environment, focus on what you can change inside yourself. Be others focused and know your role as either the owner or the manager or the kinds of people you need around you to fill in those gaps to help you be a better leader. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Good luck.